It's the rule, guys. Sequels are never as good as the original. Hello, I'm Notes, and Andy Tallison is back with the Tangent's newest album, Spark in the Aether, the music that died alone, Volume 2. If it hadn't been for Le Sac de Travail, released in 2013, I probably wouldn't have really looked forward to this album. I probably would have picked it up, had a listen, reviewed it, and then put it back on the shelf. Ever since I found out about these guys back in 2008 with their release Not As Good As the Book, I was pretty hooked about this band. But it was really the album that predated Not As Good As the Book, A Place in the Queue, that I felt was the Tangent's real masterpiece. But as each new release came out, each one, for me, got less and less stellar, such as Down and Out in Paris and London, which kind of rehashed the old ideas and concepts that we already had seen from the band before. And with the follow-up of that being Calm, it was the same stuff over and over again. Really, it wasn't until Le Sac de Travail that some new ideas and concepts came in. It was a great album and still one of their best. So getting back to the main tangent of this introduction, I was excited for A Spark in the Aether, Volume 2 of arguably the greatest effort that the band has tried, the music that died alone. So I was excited. Until I heard it. Maybe I'm missing something here, so let's take a look at the album. The music is what we've come to expect as a standard by the Tangent. It's almost a paint by numbers by this point. If you've heard anything from the band, you've got the overall feel. Nothing's really changed on that front, and for those who like this kind of music, it's got that comfortable familiarity. We have lots of keyboard solos and noodling around that Andy loves to spare. We also have the sax and the flutes provided by Theo Travis, who has worked with many proggy bands before, and he shines pretty well on this album. In terms of the overall structure of the album, we have the opening and closing track being the title tracks of this album, A Spark in the Aether. I'll admit, these songs are actually pretty good. I can see these musicians have learned what works for them and what they love to play. They're fun, they're energetic, it has enough substance to keep the track from becoming dull. Right in the middle of the album, we have Clearing the Attic. Much like the title tracks of this song, it's fun, it's energetic, it's got some good rhythms going on. But before we go any further, I do need to talk about some of the drawbacks to this album. The themes are pretty much the same as always from all their other albums, which is mainly just this. Music from the 70s was the best thing ever! Aw man, why isn't anybody listening to the music I'm creating? I swear it's really amazing and really cool. Did I mention how awesome prog rock is? Yep, those are the basic themes of the album. On the album, we have two other songs that really take the concept of the 70s being the best of times musically, especially for that of prog, and just go a little bit too far with this theme. As mentioned before, they've already kind of covered this theme on every other album they've put out. I get it. Sometimes it's very personal and very passionate for Andy, and I sympathize. It's very passionate and personal for me as well. But man, you need to explore other avenues for self-expression. Find other ways to say these kinds of things, and other things to even talk about. We have the fourth song, which comes right after Clearing the Attic, after Eugene. When I first heard it, I really liked the groove of it. It was coming off that very energetic song, and this one was very laid back, so it provided a really good contrast, and I love that bass line that we had on it. It started to build, and as it's starting to build, I thought, you know, it's sounding very Pink Floyd-like. Almost like Careful with That Axe, Eugene. A clever little nod to the title, you know, I kind of saw the point there. Form of expression was different, so I really liked it. Until we heard Andy whisper, "Careful with that sax." And yeah, he went right out and called it, basically saying, "This is Careful with That Axe, Eugene. Wasn't that a great song? Look, we're doing it ourselves. Let's hear it again. We're putting our own little spin on it." I don't really want to hear it in the middle of a Tangent album though. And nothing against Theo's playing of that sax. Yeah, it's really, really good, but it is a carbon copy to the guitar solo from Careful with That Axe, Eugene. And it sounds very like a Van de Graaff generator, or even a lot like King Crimson. This song would have served a lot better as, say, like a bonus track, because I'd almost say this is not so much a homage to Pink Floyd, but a straight up rip-off. Okay, so enough of that. Let's talk about the other piece on this album that deals very heavily with the concepts that we're used to the Tangent tackling, and that is Cod Pieces and Capes. It has been said by Andy that this was a love song to that progressive rock scene of the 70s that he loves so much. You know, because we don't have enough of those from this band already. But as with all love, nothing is really perfect, and so he does reflect on some of the things that were less than perfect. The pretentious nature, the outrageous outfits, such as the Cod Pieces from Ian Anderson and the Capes from Rick Wakeman. A form of expression, sure, but here's the kicker. The main thing that has tainted this love affair was these older rockers and the trailblazers don't recognize the Tangent, or more specifically, Andy, as the legacy of the progressive rock scene.
How can your legacy be not written by the ones who follow you?
You know, the way that it is presented, I can see the intent of the song. He's trying his best to make his idols proud of him. He's doing all the things they've done before. He's recaptured that same spirit, and actually quite well, of that music that was heard in the 70s, and he's championed the music banner of the progressive rock. And he's getting no recognition for it. So I can see the intent. But instead of coming off as an unsung hero, it just comes off as whiny and petty. I'm sorry if it comes off as a little bit harsh, but it's just how I reacted to a piece that could have been a really great reflection of a progressive rock scene as it is now, coming from a viewpoint of somebody who's actually in the music scene itself. Anyways, let's get back to the music. Let's bring this overwinded and drawn out review to an end and a close with a look of that song that I've been neglecting to talk about, and one that's mandatory for any Tangent album, that staple 20-minute epic, The Celluloid Road. So I do like the concept of this song. It's a cross-country road trip of the United States through different movie sets. As a fan of cinema, I really liked this idea and thought it was a really cool concept. But unfortunately, the song does fall short. I can see this song being more of like a peace commentary on the film industry of the US and the places that these films reflect. But instead, it just kind of comes off as, hey, remember this? Hey, yeah, I remember that. That was really cool. The music just kind of wanders around. There's nothing really spectacular here for me. There's nothing we haven't heard before, and the end just, that's just it. It just ends. There's no warning, there's no reprisal of any themes. It just, luckily, we do have the reprisal of A Spark in the Aether to cap off this album. So yeah, that is pretty much it for A Spark in the Aether. If you're a fan of the Tangent and like what they've been putting out, you'll definitely dig this album. If you felt like they've just kind of been rehashing old ideas, then definitely steer clear of it. If you're a newcomer to the band, it is a nice entry point, but I would probably suggest other albums outside of this and then revisiting this one. And that's it. What did you guys think about this album? Did you not like it as much as I did? Did you actually like this album? And if you did, please tell me below, because I'd like to get a different viewpoint on this. I'd also like to know, what was your favorite concept on any Tangent album? Let me know, again, in the comments below. And that's it. Notes out.